Hey, good afternoon. Keep going back. Okay. Hey, guys. Sorry about that. Welcome to Trail Talk. Been a little time in here that we didn't meet. We didn't meet last week. I can't even remember the week before that. But anyway, so glad to be back. And glad to continue with this series about our Oklahoma State symbols and emblems. I'm loving all of this information so much. And we were just talking around here earlier about it's just so hard for teachers to be able to find the time and the opportunity to talk to students about this sort of thing. And so a lot of us, we grow up without even knowing anything about our state's symbols and emblems and why they're chosen. So here's Mary. She didn't just
Hello.
appear. Yeah. She's doing both jobs again today.
Yeah,
But anyway, I mean,
until I worked here, I didn't realize that we had, or even states, not just us as
Yeah,
a state, but they have
right.
lists.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Mhm.
And so anyway, I think it's great that we have this opportunity
why.
to go through and kind of talk about them a little bit. So without further ado, we're going to jump in here and talk about our state game bird and flying mammal. I gave clues on the post. And if any of you are tuning in and you're expecting to see an interview with Terry Knox, we had to flip-flop. So Terry will be here tomorrow. So if that's the one you really wanted to watch,
You can still watch
it,
us.
but we'd love for you to watch this one too. I mean,
That's right.
yeah. So we're going to start. Our state game bird is the wild turkey. And we have done a ton of lessons around here about wild turkeys.
Who ever knew there was so much information?
Yeah, there's a ton. We're not going to cover like ad nauseum about the wild turkey.
The Britannica.
Yeah, the Britannica's version. It's a lot. But we are going to talk now. This looks like a young male to me, just because of some of the coloration up there on the head, but not the full. The tail's not out. I suppose it could be a female though, but I don't think
the beak kind of looks darker though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But anyway, the wild turkey was selected in 2006 to be our state game bird. They are large, and the male can weigh as much as 20 pounds. That's big.
That's a lot of
Have you ever eaten wild turkey?
No.
If
I did, I didn't know.
It's dark meat.
Then probably not. I only usually do the white meat.
Yeah, it is dark meat, the whole thing. Now, I mean, they taste.
Of course, I've heard that turkeys that they do for like Tyson and Butterball, those are white, aren't they?
The feathers
They're
are
produced-
white. Yeah, it's a domesticated
Just
bird.
for that purpose.
Right. But this wild turkey is actually native
Right, to this area.
to North America.
We have them out in our field all the time.
Yeah, well, and they're like historically like native.
Yeah,
they had been domesticated like in other places and taken to Europe. And the Europeans are the ones who brought over the domesticated turkeys. But these guys have been around here.
That's more than 5 million years ago. They can find fossils of the turkey.
That's a minute or two they've been here.
Turkey.
Yeah. So here we have a great picture of a male turkey strutting.
Yes.
This is what they call strutting. He's kind of showing off.
He has the
bulging his
gobbler there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see the bright colors in his face, the red and the blue, the feathers. It's hard to see that iridescent,
right.
But their feathers, the male and female both have those iridescent feathers. But the male has the big show off tail and everything, and they just pop.
He looks very like I'm the king, like I've been around for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. 5 million years ish.
He hadn't been eaten yet.
Give or take. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, this picture, this is iconic, right? I mean, from the time you're a young child, you make turkeys. Yeah, it's a whole Thanksgiving thing. Plus your parents get the paper handprint.
Always.
which is something we hang on to until the construction paper has faded.
Disintegrates.
And yeah,
The turkey starts to lose
anyway,
feather
it's
too.
just one of those things that we do.
But
But,
it is.
yeah, the turkey is just something that we always, see. I think it's interesting that we have little kids make, and I can remember as a kid coloring each feather a
Mhm,
different color. Which is not, I mean, there are no turkeys with tails that are like that, but
Right.
because of the iridescence, I
To
think that's,
represent those.
yeah, I think that's where that
Right.
idea came of.
Plus their heads are so, right there, it just looks like a puffball. Like a
Right.
little, puff.
It
things.
does,
And
yes.
like you said, the iridescence, you can kind of catch it right here.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
can't see it on the camera, but you kind of catch the green right through there.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, a turkey is just an amazing specimen. The
Nice.
female.
Think of the parades too.
Yeah, the female, you can see, she's not showy. This poor
She's kind of
thing,
homely
she
looking.
kind of looks like a road runner in this picture. She has no real color up here on her head, but like we've discussed before,
There's reasons for that.
yeah, we think that the female, especially her nest would be on the ground. And so she's going to be in a place where caring for her young, that she needs to be
Right.
camouflaged.
You don't want to draw that attention to yourself when
yeah.
you're caring for the babies.
Yeah, so, she looks like this. This is how this is how she's protected in nature. But I mean, wild turkeys are, like you mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
they're so easy to see.
Oh, yeah.
They live in, a lot live around here. If
Wooded
there's,
areas.
if there's a wooded area, you probably are gonna see some wild turkeys walking
I
around.
remember our neighbors in Tulsa had one and it chased my brother once.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Did you guys live near a wooded?
no, I mean, they had a
Space?
farm. We
Oh,
were just
okay.
there a little bit outside of Tulsa, so they had like cows and things, and they had a turkey.
Oh. Turkeys can
Yeah,
be mean. That's how
they
they
are.
survived for 5 million
Mhm.
years. They know how to protect
That's
themselves.
right. That's right. You end up looking like this.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
yeah, they do. They live in wooded areas, especially like right through here in that area all the way to Plato. All those fields are. You see a lot of them there.
yeah, and I mean, if you hear the turkey, when it's kind of still, when the wind's not
Mhm.
blowing 90 miles an hour, you can hear them in the spring and summer. And this time of year, especially,
Mhm.
they're kind of crepuscular animals, so they're gonna be out foraging at dusk and dawn. And so that would be a good time to spot
Mhm.
them. A drive through the country would do it. This bird, yes, they can fly. They don't seem like it. They don't look like they're very aerodynamic,
Mm-mm.
but you're not gonna look overhead and see a flock of turkeys flying.
It's short distance.
Yeah, they're gonna fly a short distance, probably to get away real quick
Mhm.
from a predator,
Right.
or if there's a hunter.
They don't have the endurance to keep long
Right.
flights.
And they do roost up in trees at
Mhm.
night. If they don't have a nest, they'll be up in the
Right.
trees. So yes, they can fly. So here's turkey eggs. Are larger, of course, than like a chicken egg.
Mhm.
And the babies, when they are hatched, are quite small,
Teeny tiny.
teeny little guys here. And then here's kind of a juvenile, a little bit older turkey. You tell them apart when they're babies by the color of their beak.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then as they grow older, you can tell by the color of their heads. The little male or toms will start
Definitely has some more
getting color on their heads. But from the time they hatch, the male, the tom, is like, peace out. See
Like
ya.
a strut.
Yeah, I gotta go strut
Gotta
myself.
check tail feather.
Yeah. They have no responsibility for the young. The females take care of the young completely. And
like they do.
yeah, that's why she's looking so rough there. But they are, they form, let's see, the female looks for food for the young for
Mhm.
just a few days, and then they are mature enough to go find their own food. I mean, they don't wander away from the mother,
Right.
but they're able to forage for themselves.
Yeah, as they grow, they go into groups composed of hens and then their broods, and then the winter group, sometimes they'll have 200 turkeys.
Yeah, yeah, can you imagine? That's a lot of turkeys hanging out together, but it's all the females and then their
Mhm.
young. Hanging out together. I don't know what the
Band
toms
together.
do. They just go
Play
chill
cards.
somewhere, yeah. Shoot pool, I don't know. That the name turkey,
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking earlier about how there were domesticated, wild turkeys were domesticated like in Mexico.
Right.
And they were shipped to Europe and they went they went west, I guess, and went all the way around to come back in from the east
Mm-hmm. On the other
on
side.
the other side, and they went through Turkey. That is how they think that name became a part
Correlated with them.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if anyone actually knows that for sure. That's what the information I found. This was the first time I'd ever seen that.
Where they got their name.
Mhm. Yeah, so, but I don't know. Anyway, turkeys at the turn of the century,
Mm-hmm.
the 1900s, that century,
Right.
the 20th century, the turkey population had dwindled down significantly. And so there was a conservation effort, which proved to be successful. And now turkeys live in all 48 contiguous states and Hawaii. They do not live in Alaska, but they are not considered
Right,
endangered.
no, even parts of Canada as well.
Mhm. And I thought this was funny. They can swim. I don't have a picture of one swimming. I wish I did, but they can swim. And they do that by tucking their wings in close and spreading their tails and kicking.
So it's like a
Now
rubber,
their feet are
like a fan boat.
It's not, yeah. Brrr, they got a little motor going because they don't have webbing between
Yeah, you
their feet, their
It's like chicken feet.
talons. Yeah, they have like chicken feet. So I don't know how effective that
And you think the feathers would get heavy as they got wet.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see it, see how fast they can actually move because they have to be able to do their feet. This is not going to get much.
Mm-mm. I
Going.
wonder, I don't know how they.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, maybe they can make them go together like people are able to do your hands and get some power. Like, I don't know.
They make themselves into
If
rafts.
any of you viewers have the answer to that, would you let me know? This is the first time I've considered the fact that a turkey could swim. I've never thought about that before.
I'm gonna see here if I can find it.
Anyway, the last little bit of information, this might come as a shock to some of you. I'm going to say that it was a shock to me. And also I have taught this wrong up here in the past. Benjamin Franklin did not actually suggest that the wild turkey become our national bird. That is actually a myth.
Busted.
This comes from the Jefferson Institute,
So it's
Jefferson,
reliable.
the Franklin Institute, which is committed to telling us everything we ever wanted to know and then some about Benjamin
Right.
Franklin. And so what actually happened, they were considering the bald eagle, and he wrote a letter to his daughter and made comments about the bald eagle, not actually,
Just kind of off the cuff.
yeah, not finding its own food, like it
Right.
would steal food from
Mhm.
other animals,
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then he commented about, with high regard, about the wild turkey and how it was a bird of courage and how this bird is noble. He actually used the word
Right,
noble,
right.
I believe. And, but did not say, like,
Should take the place up.
yeah, and he didn't make a thing and like recommend this to
Right.
the Congress or anything like that. So anyway, sorry to be a myth buster about this story to you guys. I was a little bit disappointed because it's one of my all-time
Mhm.
favorite stories about Benjamin Franklin. only to find out it's not true.
But-
So
So now you know, though, we are not
That's-
ashamed to say.
that's right. Yeah, mistakes are made,
right.
but the Franklin Institute, I trust. So anyway, and because this is our state game bird,
Mhm.
hunting season is coming up. It happens twice a year.
This weekend then.
Yeah, this coming weekend, April 13th and 14th is open for youth hunting. And then beginning April the 16th, which is next Tuesday, until May the 16th is spring hunting
I
season.
wonder why they only have those 2 days in between. That's kind of weird.
I don't know. I don't know. But next week is also the Lieutenant Governor's turkey
Oh,
hunt
yeah,
here in
right,
Duncan that our
Data.
Data hosts every year. And so I didn't I didn't realize that those guys are here like hunting on like the third day of the
Opening
season.
day.
Yeah, man, they're here when it first starts. And then there's a season, archery season, lasts from October 1st until January 15th. That's a very long season,
yes, it
but I
is.
mean,
When you're talking archery.
my dad,
Does he do it?
yeah, well, he used to. They used to go turkey hunting every year, and he's killed turkeys with his bow and arrow before. He's pretty good at hunting. And then the fall gun season is November 4th through the 17th, so it's pretty short.
Couple weeks
Yeah,
there.
pretty short season. I loved this particular picture, though. It's
Like grumpy old men sitting there on the floor.
yeah,
Because they're definitely both male.
yes, for
But
sure.
this one you can see that kind of iridescence in it. Well,
Yeah.
kind of both.
Yeah, that the camera really caught that.
Mhm.
These guys are pretty old. Here's their beards. And those beards grow
their
as
age.
long as they are alive. So a longer beard would indicate an older
Mhm.
turkey. These guys look to be close to the same age.
Right.
Anyway, they really are lovely animals, and Oklahoma's game bird, but they're also a good just bird to see.
So many different angles and facets and
Mm,
information out there about them.
right.
5 million years, you know,
That covers a lot.
that's a deep dive for me.
Yes, exactly.
I'd throw a rope in for you on that one.
I could not go that deep today.
But
But
yes,
anyway, Oklahoma's game bird, and obviously they're pretty prolific here, and so that's why they represent us, or we chose them to represent us in that game bird category. Now, the next is the Mexican free-tailed bat, our state flying mammal, because every state should have a flying mammal. Mary's pretty
I
excited
kind of have
about
a
the
different
bird.
opinion on that. I
Yeah.
gotta look at this thing.
I meant about the bat, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Translucent skin and
yeah. The reason it's called free-tailed is because of this little bit of the tail that extends beyond this, I'm gonna say a word she doesn't care for, membrane, right here. That skin that
Mhm.
stretches between their back feet there. That's why it's called free-tailed.
right.
That's what makes it a
Yeah.
free-tailed bat. But they can be found in Oklahoma's Selman Bat Cave Wildlife Management Area, which we're going to touch on a little more here in a couple of minutes. But they were selected also in 2006,
Mhm.
same year as the turkey was chosen. Anyway, these guys feed on moths. I've got a good zoom in picture here so you can.
She didn't show me anything.
You can get a good look. I mean, honestly, they look like kind of a pig-nosed rat.
Nose is.
Uh-huh. And the way they bend their joints and stuff, those front legs, it's really weird to me. And it's interesting how the skin, it covers like when they're extended, how it spreads out, but
Right.
you can't really see it. When it's there, it's not like dangling down like a
Right.
cloak or something.
Like loose skin.
Yeah,
And his
yeah.
nose looks like he has 2 noses. Looks like it's cut in the middle.
Oh, like his
See that?
nostrils are
It's like
separate.
2 horn, like a car horn.
Oh,
See how that looks like
yes,
that?
interesting. But you can see they have really large ears.
And arm.
Long
Mhm.
extended. So here's some dimensions. I thought this would be interesting. Because if like me, you don't have the opportunity or maybe not the desire to get up close enough to one of these creatures to really get a close look at it, maybe we could just look at their dimensions. So roughly 12 inches across. This is bigger than actual. That's probably about, that might be about 2 feet long. Let's see. This is a
11 by 7.
no,
No,
this is
11 by
a
13.
16 by, what is that? 11 by 16.
Okay.
So yeah, that top of that paper would be
Mhm.
the short side of a, bat.
I'd still run.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's the wingspan. Their body length, is roughly 4.5 inches.
Mhm.
I guess the body itself from here to here is about 4 inches, and then you add the back legs and the tips of the
The
little
wings hanging
wings there. And then here's like the underside, and this is like fingers
Mhm.
almost. I mean, they obviously can't grab
Which is
anything.
even more gross.
Yeah, but that's kind of like a finger with that extra webbing, like we were talking about the turkey doesn't have any.
Right. In
This guy
between.
has extra,
He's carrying
lot
it
of
for you.
a lot of it.
Tom.
But all of that allows them to fly. They can
Super.
get it
fast.
60 miles an hour. They've been clocked at close to 100. I mean,
I'm not gonna
just,
outrun that thing. I guess I just.
yeah. So here's even a little bit more, description. They have very small, sharp teeth, claws back here. That's to help them grasp while they're roosting or sleeping. The free part of the tail, like I said earlier, the
Hairless,
flap of skin.
leathery wings.
This is called the Europatagium. I'm gonna say that with a lot of confidence and act like I know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. Hairless, leathery wings with bony fingers, quotation marks. This, they call that the little thumb out there. So anyway, those are kind of the different features on the body of this Mexican free-tailed bat.
And the topic of my next nightmare.
Right?
Ugh.
So
Oh, there
I
you
thought,
go.
okay, they are really, ranchers and farmers
Mhm.
like when these bats are around because of how many insects
The
they eat.
destructive insects that they.
Yeah, and they really like to eat moths, especially the cotton bollworm moth and the army cutworm moth. And both of those moths, I don't know if that's where the worm and then like it cocoons and becomes the moth.
Right, right.
I'm not sure if that's how that works, but at any rate, I would think that by eating those, you're disrupting the reproductive cycle.
Right.
And so maybe keeping that population down. But then they also eat beetles, flies, true bugs, and ants. If they ate mosquitoes, I would have one as a pet. That's what I'm declaring right now.
I
But
never go to Edie's house.
mosquitoes are not listed on here.
Mhm.
Now, they're small. It
Yeah,
says
12
that
grams.
12 grams, and I looked that up, and that's 0.423 ounces. So they weigh less than half an ounce.
Can you imagine?
They weigh nothing. That is nothing, which probably is the reason they can get it
Yes,
when
they're
they're
fast,
flying.
right.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
aerodynamic design too.
They live in a variety of habitats, caves, abandoned mines, bridges, culverts. They'll even live in man-made structures like an abandoned house or barns,
Attics
things
and
like
things like
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah. But the colonies tend to be large, reaching hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of bats. But they are migratory animals. The bats that live in North
area.
America
Mhm.
are migratory, so they come here during the warmer months and then they go south during the
When you gotta think about it
winter.
too, the things they eat, they're only around in the warmer times of the year too.
Yeah, yeah, and they are nocturnal. So, well, I guess
Glad I don't
I
watch
guess
that.
it could be a little crepuscular if you're
Yeah.
gonna be able to go out
Get
and
those
watch.
moths and things at night.
Anyway, the females, live in maternity colonies during the summer, and the males roost separately in like a bachelor colony. So they're hanging out with the tom turkeys.
The nightly roosts are even available or invisible on weather radar.
That's how
Yeah.
many
They
they
are,
are.
yeah.
There are.
Altitudes of over 3,000 meters above the ground.
To hunt for migratory moths. So they're like moth. Go for it. So they use echolocation.
Mhm.
So that's the whole sound
Kind of like radar type.
thing, right? And it can be variable depending on weather and where they're living. But they also make a variety of social vocalizations, including isolation calls, begging calls, and multi-syllabic songs. So they sing to each other, which I think is kind of funny. And if you think about the females together with their
Mhm.
young,
Like they're sewing.
yeah, and they're singing a little
Right.
bat
A little
song.
crocheting.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, they are, again, much like the turkey, they are not, or conservationists are not concerned with the population of
Mhm.
these bats.
Right.
So here is a picture from the Selman Bat Cave Wildlife Management Area. It's located between Freedom and Woodward up near Alabaster Caverns,
Northern part of the state.
northwest Oklahoma, just this side of the Panhandle.
It looks like smoke in the air.
Yeah, that's what all this darkness is. Those are the millions of bats coming out just as the sun is setting. I've never, just getting the heebie-jeebies thinking about this. I've never been to one. When I was in college in Weatherford, there was a place that the kids called the Bat Caves. And they would go out there on
bats were
warm
there.
nights, and there were bats that would swarm out, and people would go out and watch them. I never went to the Bat Caves when I was going to school there.
Scooby-Doo, when they like go in and they bats,
Yeah,
they
the
saw them
bats come
flying
out,
out,
yeah.
like the Goonies.
Yeah, but this is a 340 acre plot of land that is on the migratory path of these bats. And it says over 1 million take to the night skies on a bat watch. They travel 1,400 miles each spring to give birth and raise their young in this protected wildlife area, which I think makes this a very cool place here in Oklahoma. Kind of a special place. I don't know how the word got out that they're going to be protected if they stay in the caves there, but anyway, the farmers and ranchers love it because they're going to come out and eat all those insects. Again, if they ate mosquitoes, it would be different. But if there's a thing that you can go and watch these nightly events in the summer, but they recommend you bring insect repellent.
Right.
So how stinking effective are these bats? They eat, but not the
I'd be in
wrong
like a
kind of
bee catcher
insect.
outfit. I'd be like have a net.
Yeah. So the 4 weekends after the 4th of July, on Friday and Saturday evenings, there's what you call a bat watch. Visitors bring lawn chairs, cameras, and binoculars to watch the overhead flight of these bats along with the sunset.
And it is limited to 75 at each gathering.
Yeah, yes, it's limited to 75 participants. You walk a distance, a biologist is taking you on a specific route from, well, Alabaster Caverns, you get on a bus, it takes you to the back
To the free
area.
Yeah.
And then you walk a distance, and that's where you will be for the tour thing. Yeah. You have to be 8 years old to be able to go. There is a charge for it, and the only way you can be selected to go is you have to send in a completed form, the number of people in your group, and however much money that would be for that group to attend, and they put them all in a thing,
Like a
and
lottery.
a lottery, maybe by weekend if you've got, you put your preference. and they pull out names, and that's how you know if you get to go or not. Of course, you are refunded your money if you don't.
No
get
running
to
water
go.
or toilets.
Yeah, they have a
Drinking
porta
water,
potty.
first aid kits are provided.
Yeah,
They're encouraged to wear long pants.
yeah.
Sandals are prohibited as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so, I think it would be kind of a cool thing to do. So anyway, here's another picture. I saved this
My
one
heart
just for
rates.
Mary, yeah. Of the
Oh, my
bats
goodness.
themselves just coming out of the cave area, I guess, just
A little different than what Batman.
thousands and thousands and
Yeah,
thousands
yeah.
of them, yeah.
I wonder, does it shrill? I wonder if it'd be like a high pitched when they all come out.
Are they singing? Are they doing echolocation? You know,
Mary, I'm
what are
coming to
they
get
doing?
you.
Yeah. And then here's just another close-up look. You can tell that this bat is on
Like a
a
rock.
piece of rock that looks just like if you were hiking anywhere almost in Oklahoma.
Now, he almost looks velvety, you know?
Mhm,
and
that's-
then
yeah.
Orange. I wonder what that is. If that's just a,
Oh, I
picture
don't
thing.
know. I don't know, but yeah, they call it his like furs kind of velvety.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there you have it, the Oklahoma flying mammal. I mean, how many flying mammals literally are there besides bats?
I don't know of any.
Right? I have no idea. The answer to that, it's an odd thing, but we are glad
Oh, it's-
Oklahoma has a
It's on our
state,
list.
a s- Okay, sorry about that. We had a weird internet failure, but we're back just in time to say happy trails. See you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Terry Knox from the Duncan Visitors Bureau. It will be here, and we're going to hear about all the great things happening around our community. Anyway, thanks for watching today.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
trails.
Happy trails.